Dopamine is destroying your motivation, and you don't even know it. Your motivation isn't disappearing by accident, it's being stolen. Every scroll, every notification, every short video, every tiny hint of stimulation, your brain is being trained to crave rewards without effort. And the scary part? Most people think they're losing motivation because something is wrong with them. But what if the real problem is that your brain is drowning in dopamine? What if the reason you can't focus, can't commit, and can't seem to follow through anymore isn't laziness at all? Because right now, millions of people are fighting a battle they don't even realize they're in, and they're losing. Have you ever noticed how strange this feels? You genuinely want to improve your life. You want to go to the gym. You want to build a business, read more books, learn new skills, become healthier, become more disciplined. Yet somehow, you end up scrolling, watching, consuming. Hours disappear. And at the end of the day, you're left with that frustrating feeling that you've been busy without actually moving forward. You know what you should do, you even want the results, but the motivation simply isn't there. If that sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're experiencing something that has been incredibly common in modern life, and understanding it might completely change the way you see yourself. Most people think dopamine is a chemical that creates pleasure. It isn't. Dopamine creates anticipation. It creates desire. It makes you want something. And that's an important difference, because your brain evolved to reward behaviours that helped you survive. Finding food, building relationships, learning useful skills, achieving meaningful goals. The problem? Modern technology has found ways to hijack that system. Think about social media for a second. You don't know what the next post will be. You don't know what the next notification will say. You don't know what the next video will contain. Your brain loves uncertainty. Every swipe becomes a potential reward, and every reward releases dopamine. Not because you've achieved anything, but because something interesting might happen. Before you know it, your brain starts choosing easy rewards over meaningful rewards, and that's where motivation begins to disappear. Here's where things get dangerous. The more stimulation you consume, the more your brain adapts to it. Imagine walking into a dark room. At first, your eyes struggle, then they adjust. Your brain does something similar with dopamine. When it's constantly exposed to high levels of stimulation, normal life starts feeling flat. Reading feels boring. Studying feels boring. Working on your goals feels boring. Even spending quiet time alone can feel uncomfortable. Not because those activities changed, because your brain's expectations changed. Suddenly, activities that once felt rewarding can't compete with endless streams of novelty and entertainment. And this creates a trap. The less motivated you feel, the more stimulation you seek. The more stimulation you seek, the less motivated you feel. Round and round it goes. Most people stay stuck in this cycle for years, without even realizing what's happening. And this is where the problem becomes deeply personal. Because after a while, it stops being about productivity. It starts affecting how you see yourself. You start questioning your discipline, your ambition, your potential. You see other people making progress, building businesses, getting fitter, learning new skills, moving forward. Meanwhile, you feel stuck. Not because you don't care, not because you don't have goals, but because every day feels like a battle between what you want long term and what your brain wants right now. That's an exhausting way to live. And over time, something even worse happens. You stop trusting yourself. You stop believing your own promises. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And suddenly years have passed. But here's the good news. The damage isn't permanent. And that's where everything changes. Most people think they need motivation before taking action. But the truth is almost the opposite. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think about the last time you felt genuinely productive. Chances are you didn't suddenly wake up feeling unstoppable. You started, maybe reluctantly, maybe imperfectly, but you started. And then something interesting happened. Momentum appeared. Motivation followed. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings in self-improvement. People sit around waiting to feel motivated. Disciplined people act before motivation arrives, because they understand something most people don't. Motivation is often the reward for action, not the requirement. So how do you fight back? Most people think the answer is more discipline, more willpower, more self-control, but that's usually the wrong approach. The real solution is reducing unnecessary dopamine, creating space, creating boredom, creating silence. And that sounds strange in a world obsessed with constant stimulation. But boredom is powerful. Boredom forces your brain to look elsewhere for rewards. Suddenly, reading becomes easier, learning becomes easier, working becomes easier. Not because those activities changed, but because your brain's reward system started resetting itself. This is why some of the most successful people intentionally create periods of low stimulation. They understand that attention is one of the most valuable assets they possess, and they protect it. Maybe your motivation isn't gone. Maybe it's just buried underneath years of overstimulation. Maybe the reason you can't focus isn't because you're lazy. Maybe your brain has simply forgotten how to enjoy slower rewards. The encouraging part is this: what was trained can be retrained. Your attention can recover. Your motivation can return. Your focus can come back stronger than ever. But it starts with one uncomfortable decision: choosing meaningful rewards over instant ones, again and again and again. Because every time you do, you're teaching your brain something it desperately needs to remember. The best things in life rarely arrive instantly, but they're almost always worth waiting for. If you learned something in this video, drop a like and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.